Okay guys, thanks for coming back. Got my friend Coach Doug here with me today. He's going to help us with today's lesson. This is one of the most important lessons that I can teach you about Jiu Jitsu. Why? Because this lesson you're going to learn how to apply your techniques against someone who might be trying to harm you in a self-defense scenario. So this will allow you to close the distance, put yourself in a safe position from the feet, and take the match to the ground, regardless of the person's background. Then it could be a boxer, a karate stylist, a street brawler, anything under the sun. You're going to kind of use these same tactics no matter what's coming at you. Okay, and the benefit is it keeps yourself really far away from the person so that it can't hit you, or really close. It also makes it to where you don't have to do a lot of guesswork. You don't have to think about, which specific punch or kick are they throwing at me. It's going to be kind of like a one-size-fits-all approach on how to attach yourself to the person. Okay, so let's talk about the two ranges in Jiu Jitsu which you always want to be in, no matter if you're standing up or on the ground, right? It's either you're going to be too close to the, or real far away from the person so they can't hit you. So, for example, step that way a little bit, please. So, over here. Okay. Real far away, you can't reach me. Okay? Can't reach. Try to reach. Obviously, you can't hurt me. Step forward a little bit. The other place I want to be is really, really close to the person. Okay? In this position, he doesn't have enough space to hit me with any power. He could hit me a little bit, but it's not going to do any damage. And that's what I'm really after, is minimizing the damage that he can inflict. From this close position, there's two basic stances that I'm going to try to go for. The stance that I'm in right now we call the three-legged monster stance. If you notice, my back leg is in a straight line with his feet here. My other foot is behind his leg, right in the middle of his feet. Okay? What this is very, very good for is stopping the person from pushing and pulling. If he were to try to drive his weight into me, my back leg driving to the ground makes that very, very difficult for him to do. Okay? Conversely, if you were to try to pull away from me, one second, my leg between his legs driving to the floor and sinking my weight back makes that kind of difficult to achieve. All right? If you were to turn in a circle, it doesn't really concern me because it doesn't change the integrity of the position. You see, I can easily move with him. Now, I'm not using my hands right here, so I can speak more clearly, but really the way I'm going to attach myself is I'm going to hook my hands around his waist, and I'm going to elevate my lead arm so that it shields my head from blows. So this way is not incorrect, I would say. I mean, you can still hold the guy, but you're a little more vulnerable for getting punched in the face. So obviously we want to try to neutralize that. Elbow up. What makes that easy is look at the grip of my fingers. It's like a chain grip here. Linking my fingers together, and that makes it very simple to lift my elbow up. Okay? The other stance that I can use is the T stance. The T stance, his legs and my legs make like a letter T, and we're making 90-degree angles with his feet and my feet. His leg is right between my legs on his base, and my hip is pressing forward into him. Okay? So this is actually very good for lifting him, because what happens here is as I push my hips forward, it creates leverage underneath his armpit, and as I push my hip forward and arch my back, it becomes real easy to lift a person. Okay? So this one's good for the wild guy who's trying to push and pull all over the place. The T position, excellent for lifting. One other variation that you need to be aware of here is the person who might try to hug your neck and squeeze you in like a headlock here. Okay? By using your arm up, it's very simple to slip out to the back and attach yourself here, and once you get a very safe position. The most important thing here is the position of my head on his back. I want my head glued right to the middle of his back to make it impossible for him to headbutt me, elbow strike me, punch me, or kick me. Okay? So it's not good enough just to hug him and be loose with your head here. You need to be head middle of the back, hips low, and once again, easy to lift the person from this position and take him to the floor. Okay? So those are going to be our goals when we're in close. Attaching ourselves to one of those positions is ideal. Now, how are we going to get there? We're going to do a little exercise called closing the distance. Okay? The trick with closing the distance is finding that range that's just outside of reach of his punch or kick, and be able to quickly crash through and attach yourself into that clinch range. Okay? So too far away is going to give him too much reaction time. We need to. Here's how we want to do it. If he extends his arm, he puts his hands up like we're going to fight. Okay? say your lead hand, extend it out as far as you can. Okay, this is the maximum reach of his arm here. So what I want to do, just to find the right position, can you step back just a little bit, please? To find the right position, is I'm going to extend my hand and connect to his fist right here. So we've got 2 arm length distance going on right here. Now, I want to maintain this distance no matter where he moves, forward, back, side to side. Keep that same range. So here's the drill we're going to do to begin. He's going to take 1 step forward, and I'm going to take a step back, and then we're going to freeze and check and make sure that I've got the correct distance. Okay? Step forward, freeze. That's about right. Okay? Step again. Good. Let's back on up. Okay? Step. Let's back a little bit more. Okay, let's do it again. 1, 2. On the third one, I'm going to crash through as he steps forward. So it's going to look like this. Step. And attach to the clinch position. Okay? Watch a very important detail right here. Okay? My hand position. There's 2 variations that I like to do, and they both have a common principle. Okay? The first one, I call with the kids class the super glue position. Okay? I take my hands, I'm going to connect my palms to the top of my head, and as I do so, I'm protecting my jawline on each side of my face and my temples. Okay? This way. I also squeeze my forearms very close together so that it creates a barrier in the front of my face. This way. I do not want to walk around like this the whole time. I want to have my hands up or out or however, and when I'm ready to go, level change and hands come into position. From there, you're pushing up your back leg and charging into your opponent. When the front of your forearm hits his chest, you want to drive it back a couple of more steps and then make your connection for the clinch. So stepping back again, let's look at it a little bit, not fast, but a little more continuous movement. Here it goes. Come on, 1, 2, 3. 3-legged monster position. Okay? Another trick that you can do, this is just a preference thing you have to play around with. Another thing that you can try is to cover your elbow down at a 45-degree angle. Your opposite arm goes over the top of your head, and you connect to your own tricep. Here you notice my jaw is protected, my temples are protected, and the front of my face is protected, and I have a little peephole that I can look through. Okay? So let's look at that one time. It's going to be the exact same footwork, just with a little bit different hand position. Okay, so he comes forward, 1, 2, crash through, and attach. Here I made the T stance, which is how we happen to land. If he tries a headlock or something like that, slip out, move it back. Always a good idea here with your friend to check and see if he did his head position correctly. Okay? And be careful when you're the bad guy not to do it violently, because you don't want to accidentally injure your friend in class. Okay, so believe it or not, just as simple as that seems, that works against a wide variety of swinging attacks. His stance doesn't really matter so much. Just it's the concept of keep a safe distance and crash through that distance and attach yourself. We're going to look at 2 takedowns on the curriculum now that are going to happen from the 3-legged monster stance. The first one we're going to do is called the leg trip takedown. Okay? So, hands up, he comes forward, 1, 2, crash through, knock him back, 3-legged monster. Once again, if he's pushing into me, my back leg makes that very difficult. You're going to find in this stance, if he's really pulling away hard, you start to kind of, you're fighting him, but he can pull me a little bit. Okay, come back again. So when he's pulling away from me is the ideal time to do this movement. Let's do it super slow, okay? As he pulls away, my back leg, the one that was sinking down, the one that he's trying to pull off of the ground, is going to step in front of his legs here, okay? This way. My back leg, the one that was in behind, is going to go calf to calf, and I'm going to pull his legs apart. Open my hands in base, and then take them out position whenever possible, okay? Back again. One common mistake is to try to trip with the front foot. Here I'm off balance, okay? So we want to go with the leg that's in back. He makes a little pull, I step, my back foot goes calf to calf, the sensation here is that you're making him do it, the splits, this way, and then pushing him backwards with your head against his chest. So he becomes very, very weak in that position, and you easily land on top. Now, when you set your friend down, there's no need to make him crash to the floor like a ton of bricks. You want to use a lot of care to let him to the ground gently. Always remember your friend gets a turn to do it right after you. So, in my base, he's pulling away. I make a step, I clip the leg, my foot goes on the ground, I lower him gently, and step over for the mount position. Okay. That would be called the leg trip takedown. Single leg takedown. Okay? Comes from the same clinch position. Back up a little. He steps forward. 1, 2, crashing through, knocking him back a couple of steps, making my 3-leg monster position here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop his leg up, squeeze my knees together, and now look at, instead of his leg being on the ground, forming a straight line, I put my foot in that space. When I do this, can you balance yourself? You okay? Shoulder pressure down on the top of his thigh. Right here, he's feeling tremendous pressure on his right leg. It's very difficult for him to hop around. His leg is actually getting fatigued just by holding it up here. So I've got a lot of pressure on his hip. What I'm going to do is create a hole for him to fall into. So this leg, just like I did before, I step forward. This leg is going to step back, but I'm going to maintain this pressure with my shoulder. He's going to fall right down in the hole that I create for him. I'm going to try to do it slowly so you can see. I'm going to step, step, and dump. Just like that. Scoop from another angle. From here. We're here. Pick the leg up. This is so important, this shoulder pressure right here. If I'm like this, do you feel a difference? Yeah.
Big difference.
Okay. Shoulder pressure. Forward step, backward step, push straight down in the hole. All right, and here you got a nice takedown on the guy. All right. So that'll conclude our basic lesson on the clinch, what I call safe clinch position, closing the distance, and then 2 simple high percentage takedowns that you can execute from that position. Okay, get to work on it, and we'll see you next time.